Hello, my name is Lisa Loring, and a client of mine wanted to have a video on neck release sequence. And I didn't have one, so that's happened now twice. But I told her I would make one for her. So this is a great sequence to do when you're at your computer, whether you're at home working or wherever. It doesn't require you to even get out of your chair. If you get out of your chair, though, and cross your legs, that's always a good move to shake up the situation. But if you do, you can sit in a chair with your at the edge of the chair with your feet on the floor, pushing the feet lightly into the floor for stability and strengthen the legs. So that way your neck can let go. The more stable the legs and the hips are and the low back, but gently pushing your feet into the floor, the more this part of the body will relax and be more fluid rather than its kind of hunched up way that we're always unconsciously holding either with our phones, our computers, driving, what have you. So let me show this to you. It's great. I love this sequence. It's fantastic. If you're sitting on the floor, you can come into a comfortable cross-legged position. It doesn't matter which leg is in front. I tend to switch it up just because I like to do that. I'll often do this pose in Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together as well. All right, so those are your choices. I'm going to angle the camera up because the rest of the action is happening here with the head, as it often is. But this is an opportunity to actually turn the head off and breathe. Now, I'll give you the cues. One important piece of this is that we stay lifted in the chest. There is a tendency to collapse forward because once we start to turn all of this off and we activate the pineal gland more, we'll want to go into, this like super restful / unconscious / sleep stage. We want to do this practice with a modicum of consciousness, which I always like to refer back to one of my mentor teachers who said that, calling it relaxed attention. She didn't coin it, but she uses it a lot in her practice. And I credit her for being the one who brought that to me. So relaxed attention. So that's being relaxed, but still being alert and conscious. All right. So I have myself at an angle so you can kind of see what's going on. So just tip it up just a little bit more so you can see what's going on. So coming into a comfortable seated position, whatever that means for you. Bring your chin to slightly tucked and drawn back a little. That's another thing. We tend to thrust forward because of the electronics and stuff. So bringing it slightly back, lengthen the spine and anchor down through the pelvis and the feet, even if you're in a cross-legged position on the floor. Lower the ear to one side and take the opposite hand. If people who have rings on, you may want to tuck the rings in, take them off or tuck them into your palm, and then slide the hip palm under the hip, the opposite hip from where you're leaning your ear. Inhale, reach the arm out, the arm that corresponds to where the head is tilting. Lift it up, and then exhale, let the arm just gently rest on the head. That might be too much. That might be too much for your range of motion in your shoulder. The weight may be too much for whatever tension exists in the top of the shoulders or the neck. And if that's the case, keep the arm reaching out to the side, palm down. Palm's about 18 inches off the floor. All right? So those are your options, either this extension or let the arm wrap around the head. And you're not pulling on the head, you're not tugging on the head, it's just the weight of the arm providing an additional stretch. And in this case, through this exposed side of my neck, right? And so here's where the relaxed attention comes in. As you breathe deeply, because you want to continue deep breathing, it's not this kind of really super shallow breath that we do all the time. You actually engage and breathe wider than you normally would and lengthen the exhale. And you can do this for anywhere from 3 to 5 breaths. The second position is to turn the chin so it's tucked toward the armpit and down into the collarbone. If you have your arm on your head, it will drift towards the back of the head a little bit. Again, there's no weight, there's no pressure with that arm, it's just resting there. And if the arm is out to the side, it stays in its same position. And it looks like that. So again, 3 to 5 breaths. So again, the tendency is to want to slouch. To counter that, push down through the hips, lengthen the tailbone, spread the toes of the feet, whatever sitting position you've chosen. And stay committed to a deep breath in. Long exhale, easing the exhale out, but not collapsing. Staying engaged, lifted in the chest, staying engaged, pushing down through the legs. Again, a few breaths here. Lengthening and strengthening. The inhale and exhale. And then the third position is to tuck the chin a little more so it's angled on the breast, angled on the chest, diagonally kind of in line with this hip. The arm and the head will drift further back. The arm, if it's out, if that's your practice, it's still out to the side. The deeper the chin tucks in towards the chest, the more the tendency is to want to collapse and round forward through the chest, round in the back. Again, countering that by pushing down through the hips, pulling the belly in, spreading the toes, and being very conscious about the kind of breath you're drawing in and drawing out. And then the fourth position, is to bring the chin centered on the chest. Remove the arm from the head at this point and use the hand, actually remove the hand from underneath the hips. And take that opposite hand now to hold the forehead and hold the weight of the head in that palm. Opposite arm can just rest in the lap. Let the weight of the head be fully in the palm. Using the breath to spread across the upper back, the upper chest helps to keep the chest lifted and open. Strong base by pushing down through the hips and activating the feet through the legs helps to keep the upper body open and receiving that breath in, easing the breath out. To come out of the pose, continue to let the head be heavy in the palm and use that hand to pick up the head and center. And then just rest your hand down. So that's one side. If you want to change the cross of the legs, if you're working in a crossed leg position, you can do that here. If you're in a sitting position on a chair, you just keep the legs where they are. Or if you're in that Baddha Konasana, you just keep the legs where they are. So the opposite side looks like this, letting the head tilt to the opposite side and the hand on that, away from that. So my head is tilting to the left here, for instance. So now I'm using my right hand, I'm sitting on my right hand. Opposite arm from where I'm tilting my head. And again, arm can be out or wrapped around the head, depending on what's going on with this side of the body. Just because you did it one way on one side doesn't mean the other side of the body wants to receive the pose in the same way. So check in on that. Don't insist on imposing that if it's not necessary. Pulling the belly in, spreading the feet, keeping the legs active, pushing down through the hips will help to create an opening. Strengthen and lengthen the breath. And I'm going to go ahead and, just for the sake of making sure you guys see this on this side, do it a little differently. So now I'm reaching my arm out rather than going for the wrap. And then now the second stage is to tuck the chin. So this is what it looks like. And I invite you to do that. Just shake it up. Even if you don't need these modifications, try them anyway. Why not? Doesn't mean that you're doing it at an advanced stage if you're doing bigger and bigger poses. Doing the advanced stuff is actually, and I'm sure you've heard this before, is doing the small stuff, being willing to do the small stuff and stay with simple things, the least complex version, and staying present. Tuck the chin into the chest for the third stage, staying open in that chest. I find when I get to this third stage, that's where I really want to start rounding. So pushing down through the hips, spreading the toes, keeping the face and the jaw, the mouth relaxed, gums relaxed. It's funny, you don't think that your gums hold tension. Now that I said it, you're like, take a deep breath in. Move the breath across the chest, the upper back. Exhale fully, using that exhale to help you re-engage through the legs if you like. And then coming back to center with the chest, remove that hand that you're sitting on. Take the palm to the head. Hold the head fully in that palm. And one thing I forgot to say is if sitting on the hand is too intense for that hand, just don't do it. Leave it to the side. You can just leave it to the side, relaxing down at your side. Sorry, I didn't say that in the beginning, but you know, some people's hands can't take that. Frankly, mine barely can these days. So I respect that, and you know, choose the option that works for you so you can continue breathing with ease on the inhale. Easy on the exhale. And any one of these head positions, you know, stay for the length of time that you can. 5, 7 breaths, whatever feels good. Just remain staying open, lifted, and conscious. And on your final inhale, you'll use the hand. The head is just dead weight in that palm. You pick it up and then rest the hands down. So that's neck release sequence. And just like the hand thing, you know, there may be positions that you place your chin on one side or the other that just might not work. Honor that. Don't do them. Do what you can. We always stay with what works. Work that until there's something else that opens for you. You know? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, like, share, subscribe, direct message me. That's also another option. If friends of yours don't use Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I'll put places on all 3 platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So whoever uses what can access it to the best of their ability. I thank you so much. Have a great day.